Breaking news to report, due to an unexplained rise in blue whales blocking U.S. shipping routes, a global economic crisis has ensued, rendering the U.S. dollar completely worthless for the foreseeable future.
You know what she just say about my money?
Oh, come on, you didn't read those financial reports I sent? Okay. Look, as far as your money's concerned, it's about as useless as that last fight with Birdo.
Nah, man. This can't be, man. I'm money, man. You know, I'm in TMT, man. You know what I'm about. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first day money came into my life. It was that glorious moment when a man realizes his true purpose in life. I would become money, and money would become me.
Quick update. In a surprising turn of events, the only currency to survive this economic tsunami is the Philippine peso, making boxing legend Manny Pacquiao the richest man on the planet. I guess you could call him Money Manny Pacquiao. For more on this global catastrophe, here's an even bigger one. The box score starts right now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danets in Milford, Connecticut. We are down one as Paulie is off looking at leaves, foliage hunting or whatever you want to call it. I seem to recall him giving the back row quite a bit of guff for taking off for a major Jewish holiday. Are we calling shenanigans, McLovin?
Oh my God. Actually, you know what? Not really, because I think it's lovely that he's taking some time with his family to see the foliage.
It is a little weak if you're trying to make any kind of comparison between a day off for Yom Kippur and a day off to hang out with family and friends and look at the different colors of the leaves. Well, that being said, he's entitled to a day off. For some reason, there's an atmosphere around here where we're afraid to take a day off and we feel really guilty that we're not totally, tied into the show 24/7, and other than Christmas time and a couple days here or there for like national holidays, it's okay to take a day or two off that we're entitled to, and you should be able to do that.
I actually don't know what was said on Yom Kippur when we were gone, but actually multiple people have come up to me and said that was a bit when DP and the guys were giving you a hard time about being off for the Jewish holiday. So whatever you guys said apparently wasn't very nice.
Oh, I'm sure it was nice. Just like Paulie being nice to his kids by taking them to look at leaves and not to Disneyland. You are Father of the Year. Well, maybe he overheard the Dallas Keuchel interview where Dallas talked about being out east, but not in the Berkshires looking at leaves, actually pitching in Yankee Stadium.
Hands down, the most electric atmosphere I've ever been a part of. I was walking out to start warming up, and they were just on me from the get-go. I really relished every single second of it.
What did they say to you when you're out in the bullpen?
They would get under the regular person's skin. I was really loving it. They were saying how fat I was. I mean, just everything. How ugly my beard was. I need to shave it. I mean, just that was just some of the PG stuff.
I love it, and I was concerned at first he was going to use one of those lines when we've asked people to say, what kind of trash talking or something goes on, where that it's they didn't want to say it on national radio and TV because it was too dirty, but at least we were able to get a clean version of things, and I can totally picture at any ballpark, not just Yankee fans, especially with everything on the line, totally riding him as he's coming out, calling him overweight and making fun of his beard, and obviously Dallas got the last laugh, but it was great to feel for a moment. You could just totally picture that as he's walking to the mound, what they're screaming at all the fans around Yankee Stadium and in their pinstripe uniforms and everything. Would be just great.
Seton, is there anything more iconic in American sports than pitching in Yankee Stadium in the playoffs?
Yeah, most certainly the old Yankee Stadium, which was a hell of a place, and I guess this one too. I don't know. Those are certainly big moments, but I can't think of. Fenway, Wrigley, those are all great.
Fenway's pretty cool.
I would imagine Lambeau. Obviously in the NFL sense, that's a pretty big stage to do something. But there's certainly a bunch of venues though that are.
Doesn't feel like.
Whoa, this is really the top.
You're right. The new Yankee Stadium, it doesn't doesn't have that.
Lost it's all gone.
Yeah, it's
all
like
the history, all the everything. It's like, oh yeah, remember that place that was right over there? That was really awesome. Yeah, we're just playing over here.
But that because the team is kind of
That's what I think.
Yeah.
How much of it is the venue and how much of it is the roster is so drafted?
Yeah.
No, I think it's the venue.
Is it really?
I think, well, the roster is obviously way different. But to me, when you're sitting there, it's a nice stadium to be in and it feels comfortable. But there's no history there. When you're watching on TV, all you see is empty seats behind it. It's so corporate and it just doesn't feel like this like hallowed ground of like, oh man, do you know everything that's happened here? Yeah, a bunch of rich people sat and watched baseball. That's kind of what it feels like.
Which is a shame, because if a team with the tradition and success of the Yankees is losing that, then where is baseball going? There's no team that can even come close to that, and the Yankees are losing that feel.
Well, one team that's pouring a lot of money into it are the Dodgers, and Clayton Kershaw is taking them out against the Mets tonight. Now, he has struggled in the postseason. McLovin, what is the better story here? Whether he overcomes and dominates, or whether he continues to flounder?
Well, you know, as you know, Brock, I've called Clayton Kershaw the Andy Dalton of MLB. Of course, everyone says Andy Dalton's not quite as good in the regular season as Clayton Kershaw, but he's been bad in the playoffs. For me, I don't know why. I have no real vested interest. I want to see Clayton Kershaw kick ass, and then at the last second fail tremendously.
What?
That would be best for our ratings. Like, because we have a big...
This has a very Paulie kind of question feel to it.
Yeah.
We that question was directed at Paulie. It's like, what's the better, from a producer standpoint, story, you know, as far as the failing, or all of a sudden he rises to the occasion and gets that off his shoulder of like, hey,
no,
you can't
but
keep
how
knocking on.
about 2 no-hitters, then gets in the World Series, and it's like that Bugs Bunny game where the guy is, they're just rotating around the bases? That would be great. That'd be fun.
All right, the first Bugs Bunny reference today. All right, well, my producers are Dodgers fans for the sake of my Monday morning. I hope that Kershaw wins. All right, coming up, there's a war brewing, and that is a foliage war. Look out. Hey, you heading out to look at the leaves? Hop in the cab of your Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. Climbing hills, towing boats, hauling trailers, it does it all. And look at the pretty colors of all those leaves, even though they really haven't changed out there in Vermont. All right, get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram. Welcome back to the Box Score. Guys, Paulie is out. Now, Fritzy, let me ask you, you have more fun when Paulie's away or when the boss is off?
That's a great question. I'm going to say more fun when Paulie's out, only because, you know, sometimes, you know, we just have some friction there. Then, you know, it's nothing really more than that. He'll give me a dirty look if there's a phone line issue, or, you know, or he'll make, you know, little sarcastic, snide Paulie kind of remarks. That we all do, but Paulie's kind of like the leader of the pack with that, to kind of get some things going. You know, that's the producer in him, to rile things up, get a little confrontation going that may not necessarily be there.
I don't like when Dan's out at all. I didn't think anybody liked that.
No, it's not. It's no fun when Dan is out.
Yeah,
actually.
it's not. Actually, it's not that fun when Paulie's out either. It's fun to make fun of him, because you know, I don't know why it's so hard to make fun of Paulie to his face. He's pretty sensitive, so you got to be super careful. But
well, see, now see, that's interesting, because I feel like today, like when we were taking shots at Paulie, that's everything that I would say if he was sitting right next to me or not.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys are like all of a sudden like, wow, now we can actually make fun of Paul because he's not here, which actually makes it kind of lame or like bad. Now it's like you're talking about him behind his back as opposed to.
Well, we know,
like it's just more fun.
We know he's watching. At least I feel like if he's not watching or taking a break from the foliage, he's somehow, because he monitors everything, he's somehow getting tweets about what we're saying, or he's gonna tape it. And
Paulie's definitely the only one, by the way. I know as a fact, when the 3 of us are out, there's no way we are DVRing the show.
I'm gone.
Or the box score.
Absolutely gone.
Paulie definitely DVRs and watches back for any reference to him. So you're right. He does keep it buttoned up, which I respect, because like I'll say one little thing in the box score about Paulie, like when he's gone, and I'll hear about it.
He'll be ready.
Oh yeah, I heard that shot you took of me.
He'll be ready Monday.
He's listening right now. What's up, Paulie?
Hey, what's up, Paulie? All right, well, let's dive into it, because I know that when I'm gone, Paulie definitely loves to pile on. So let's do this. I'm not giving him crap for being off. It's not the reason that he's off. It's the execution of the execution of it all. I mean, Seton, is Paulie's foliage game completely overrated? I mean, because this is way preseason for leaves.
Oh.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's a little early for just straight hardcore foliage right now. Although in northern Vermont, it's probably really hitting its peak. But Paulie, I think, spends his time more in southern Vermont. So he probably has another week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. That being said, this is also prime, Pumpkin Fest, Oktoberfest, all of that stuff going on right now that you definitely want to be a part of if you're in the area. So, and that's right in Paulie's wheelhouse. Anything Oktoberfest, pumpkins, some beer, maybe some little apple fritters, apple cider, all that stuff. He's all about it. So he's probably hitting a great weekend there. Foliage-wise, it's just a little early.
You might go hot apple cider, cold apple cider, hard cider. You might do a cider trifecta.
Cider gamut while you're up there.
Pumpkin pie a la
nuts.
Yeah. Oh man. Pumpkin. I saw there's like pumpkin bisque the other day. Wow.
Oh, the flight of cider. There's nothing better than that. Fritzy, Paulie's been trying to claim his manliness by tweeting out this picture of an axe in the tree. But he is taking a day off to provide for his family to go look at leaves. I mean, is he a fake manly man?
That's a little harsh to go fake manly man. I do know that he spends a lot of time concerned about what he's wearing and being color coordinated, and I can take a lesson from that because I'm no fashionista by any stretch, nor do I try.
Todd, by the way, there's no color of anything else that matches with this shirt, so go ahead.
Well, but like the yellow.
Actually, this hat somehow does.
That's
Very
what
matching. I noticed you tied that in together deliberately. You definitely brought that in.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you noticed that. But yeah, see, he's very into his clothes and goes to special shops online or wherever he likes to look a certain way based on the time of the year. He knows the names of all these different colors and what goes with what and his shoes and everything. So that's great. He does want to have that look. As far as trying to be a faux manly man, that's a little harsh. He's getting together with the family and friends to enjoy their Apple Harvest Vermont Festival or whatever it is. And I'm not sure how much he's doing with the axe as opposed to posing for pictures versus actually cutting down trees. I don't know where he.
I'll go a step deeper. I think social media is so perfect for Paulie because Paulie doesn't just live life, he produces life. So he's doing his things, but he's also on the outside of himself at the same time, viewing how he's doing it and manipulating it. Like he produces life, which is, and I don't think he would have any problem with this. He sort of admits it. So he's not just living, he's producing, and I think he sometimes likes to sort of sit back and enjoy what he just did.
Now, see, the real question is because now I'm sort of spinning this forward about Paulie, and since we kind of are calling him out for he doesn't really chop down trees, he just likes to look like he chops down trees, right? Does he at some point this weekend put a picture on Instagram or social media of chopped up wood, of him with an axe in his hands,
totally
right?
Which
and now
doesn't prove anything.
And he would only do that if he doesn't watch the box score, because now that we've said that, now he won't do it.
That's a test.
Oh man, this is.
But unless there's actual video of him cutting down the tree, he could easily just pose next to a cut down tree and lean up.
The call of the century was Seton that axe will be, and that tree will be there next year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that axe was not a functional axe.
We need a video or Periscope. We need something to show him actually going through the process of cutting down a tree. So standing next to a stump.
He might do one ceremonial chop, like a president. Like it's like when you break ground on a charity at a new hospital and you cut the ribbon with the big scissors. Paulie's the guy with the big scissors.
You know what? He's done a great job of sort of crafting that image, right? We should all take notes from that, in a way. I mean, he's done a good job with it, where everyone's like, look at Paul's the manly man chopping down trees and stuff, and you're like, whoa. What do you mean? He's up there looking at leaves. But somehow he's more of a lumberjack than a foliage enthusiast. So you're like, those are very drastically different things.
A lumberjack and a leaf peeper. Like, it could be more different.
I think he's got the best.
He does a great job. I think
he's got the best of both worlds, because he could say, like, I'm the family man that's checking out leaves, but I also have this other side to me where I'm the man that's cutting down trees and doing all these lumber kind of things. So he knows how to play both sides.
By the way, his family's definitely not with him up there. He's actually solo. He's on a guy trip weekend. Leaf peeping.
Right,
so lame.
Well, you guys got a guy out there who may or may not be out there for the leaves and the pumpkins. Shayan Irving dropped in town. McLovin, was there any concern for your safety at all when you met up with him?
No, I was concerned for his safety. I mean, you saying that he could take me, Brock?
No,
I don't think so.
No, you're wiry.
He is 6'6", about 280.
He's a big dude, man.
He's a big dude.
Well, you did a great impression where, like, because of the way he talks, the person that doesn't know who he is would be intimidated, like he's looking to start a fight or something like that.
Hey, man, you gonna finish them fries?
You're right.
No, I'm not. Here, you can have them. Then it feels like you're just taking them from me.
That's absolutely right. Like, hey, man, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
Hey, there he is, man. Thanks for stopping by. Like what do you have? Really? Thanks? Or yeah, man, I've been looking to run into you. Like, why?
Here's my wallet.
Well, Seton, you talked to me in game. Is he an all-pro drinker, or is he just talking smack?
No, I think he gets after it. I think he. I really don't know because I haven't hung out with him much. I was only with him for less than 30 minutes, and I had one beer with him. And I wish that I could have hung more. But no, I think Shea, I think he gets after it a little. I think he's about as legit as they come.
I was walking by on the way home. He was there.
Yeah.
I ran into him twice. Yeah, he closed the bar that he actually opened that morning, so impressive.
Dear God. All right. Well, Shea, if you're ever out here in Los Angeles, tweet us, call us up, and we will take our livers out to the woodshed together, my brother. All right. Coming up, we are taking a trip to yesteryear.
Play something good. Or were you playing something good? Yeah. All right. Yeah. I noticed John is watching you intently here as you play this game. And your face is now a bright red.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Guys, with yesterday's FanDuel show, we weren't able to break down the amazing day it was with John Fogerty in studio. Now, Seton, I've seen and heard you play guitar. You can play much better than that. What gives, man?
You know what? Seriously, you could have put a gun to my head and say, play a song right now or it's all over, and I wouldn't be here with you today. It was like, sometimes when you're reading a commercial or something like that and you're looking at a piece of paper, or like you're speaking in front of a crowd, right? And you have a piece of paper in front of you, and it looks like all the words fell off the piece of paper, and you're like, you can't find anything, and you're like, you just have to read it, you know? That's what it felt like yesterday with the guitar in my hand. I see Dan kind of put me on the spot. I'm like, wow, I don't know if Fogerty's mad about this. And he's a legend, an absolute icon. I'm holding his guitar, and he's looking at me, and he's got an intense face. Like it's not.
You can't tell.
He's a nice guy, but it's kind of hard, you know. He's got sort of like this cold, hard stare that he gives you, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put this down right now. Like,
so you kind of panicked, huh?
I totally panicked.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
I couldn't tell from his expression either. If he was
Crapped
like,
the bed. I was like,
I have to admit, I was sitting there, I was wondering, why isn't Seton playing guitar? I've seen him do a million times.
I just couldn't. Yeah, I just completely.
Stairway to Heaven.
Apart.
Here Comes the Sun.
You know, and then after that, as soon as I sat down, I'm like, why didn't I just play like any one of these 50 songs right now? I'm like, if I could have gotten back up and I would have done that, then it would have been fine. But
what would you play right now?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe rock and roll. Like I would have played a Led Zeppelin song that Dan would have been like, all right, that's cool. You know.
Well, it's tough when you're staring down the barrel and John Fogerty's looking back at you. Well, Mr. Fogerty took a trip down memory lane with Dan and talked about playing after the Grateful Dead at Woodstock.
Things got later and later because the Dead, because hippies were kind of running this whole deal. So the Dead didn't actually get to go on until about midnight.
Oh my God.
And they went on, they played a little while, and then there was silence, but they were still on stage. We couldn't take the stage. And for an hour, there was no music. Then they played, something started up again. They started playing another 45 minutes. And then they left. We found out later that they had all taken LSD as they went on stage. When I say later, I mean in the 90s, it was finally admitted.
Most amazing story, like to hear somebody who actually performed at Woodstock in our studio, and that story about the Dead was hysterical. I kind of love that he's like, man, there was a bunch of hippies on stage. So like CCR is so tough. They're like the opposite of hippies, which I thought was cool.
He takes things seriously.
Yeah.
You know, you could kind of tell that he's still annoyed with the Grateful Dead, 40 years later, however long it's been.
What year was 69?
Yeah. That he's still kind of like, yeah, you know what? Like, screw those guys, man. Like, we have to go on at like 2 in the morning because of these hippies on LSD.
I was shocked too. He said
still annoyed.
I had never heard this. He said that Hendrix had in his contract that he had to be the last performer. That I did not know that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That was man, that guy's lived like 50 lives more than any of us have.
It's probably, I can't think of a generation of people that have seen, more, or maybe a little older than him actually, have probably seen more change in life. But I mean, to think of the moments that that people like him were there for. It's huge.
Now, would they have wild parties backstage like the rock bands of the 80s and 90s, like Creedence Clearwater Revival? I know you got the drugs and things like that, but would they have like crazy wild?
I always got the impression that era, it was sort of like free love anyway. So it's like even Bill, the former accountant who just left to tour the Dead, he was living that life too, and he didn't even play a guitar. He was like, yeah, let's get it going. We're gonna smoke a little, drink a little.
It was a different and more magnificent time. DP was clearly on fanboy cloud 9 when Fogerty was in the studio. Seton, can you recall a guest that he was more excited to see?
Man, well, there's a few people, with Dan have had that sort of an impact on his life, where Dan's telling the story about, like just wearing out the record, listening. So there's really not a lot of opportunities for that. Jerry West, we always bring up. That's the one that you could really tell that Dan was like in a moment, especially with, he brings back and recalls memories with his father and watching as a kid. There's not a lot of them, but Jerry West is certainly one that he really...
Johnny Bench, but we have Johnny on a lot. So,
no, West is a good call because when you're seeing he's getting like a little teary-eyed. He's definitely emotionally invested and affected by. And that Dan doesn't get like that. He's met so many people over the years, and he's kind of been there, done that. But to have someone that is so close to him and meant a lot, so much to his father, he was getting really emotionally caught up in.
He doesn't quite get to tears, but one guy who just brings him a lot of joy is Tim Kawakami because he can hit. Too. The San Jose hockey market, the Golden State Warriors.
The versatility. The respect and versatility.
I mean, there's no history there necessarily, but the versatility of the entire Bay Area, like the pro and college
teams, that can bring you to tears for sure.
Kawakami is that Swiss Army knife of the Bay Area. All right, don't go away. We were recapping another visit from a legend in the New York City Man Cave. Could it be Kawakami? Might be. But first, this is the box score, and we are taking a break to remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty, with its best-in-class towing, torque, and horsepower, just does manly jobs. Let's go out, looks at leaves, it pulls stumps out of ground. That's right, guts, glory, Ram. We're closing up shop here on the box score. Guys, yesterday you had another huge guest in the Man Cave. Jeff Daniels swung by. Now, Seton, Jeff can sort of give off a bit of an intimidating vibe in his acting. What was he like in person?
Intimidating.
Yeah.
He was nice, but he had an interesting vibe to him.
He's super dry, right? Like, I was like, does this guy hate me? I kind of...
Yeah, and sort of where you're like, wow, like, is he happy to be here or isn't he? Because he's just sort of like, yeah, okay.
It was right before.
That's what I'm going to talk about, But I think he's like that all the time,
But it was right before. This is interesting. Todd was ripping Dan about something. What were you ripping Dan about? And Jeff
that's one I got excited for a moment there because the only other time that happened to me was when Seinfeld was like kind of critiquing us and said like this one was funny or we spoke too quickly or whatever. Was I said something and then Dan like moved on as he does and just totally dismissed what I said and then I called him out on that and I said maybe I'm being too sensitive but I'd rather you say that was a waste of time what you said than to just go anyway. The Cubs are playing the Cardinals and I think Jeff Daniels I could hear a little chuckle and then before he sat down, he kind of came over when we introduced ourselves to him, and he said, that was funny. And that little moment
that was pretty cool.
Wow, Jeff Daniels was amused for a brief moment of the calling out Dan of like, why did you just move on to something else and not acknowledge?
That's huge, dude. That's funny from Jeff Daniels.
That's a good pat on the back. Well, Dan had to go all inside Actors Studio with Jeff and prove his chops by crying on command.
I'm waiting. And I want to see actual saline. I want to see water on the cheek.
I said to her, I loved Kramer versus Kramer.
Keep going. Touch that deep, dark place. Go there.
It broke my damn heart. It did. It broke my heart.
That's good.
Sophie's Choice.
That's really good.
Oh,
wow.
God.
Still not seeing anything wet.
Oh, it's there. Oh, it's wet. Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a classic example of Dan telling an actor what you do is not that hard to do or important but Jeff took it well.
It's subtly like a shot.
Oh, it's a shot, yeah.
He doesn't come out so blatantly and say, like, he didn't say Central Michigan. Well, what acting?
Well, first of all, Dan has to let every actor who's on the show know that he's been in 12 movies, or 13 now, or 14.
And I'm shocked when they haven't seen any of it.
I mean,
You know, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing to do. Like, obviously, you've seen my movies, right? And you're like, huh?
It's like
no.
And
it's
comparing
like,
those movies and those scenes to what some of these other actors that we've on the show have done. Like,
it's like having LeBron James on and saying, "Hey, you know that I scored 12 points a game in high school. Have you seen my clips?"
Yeah, obviously, you're aware.
It's a different level, but you get my point.
Yeah. Hey, Todd, with the big guest list yesterday, and of course, Paulie out today. Will this be the best birthday weekend ever?
It'll be a great weekend, but you know what? Paulie does a great job, and even though we have our differences sometimes, and maybe I come across, which I probably am, a little more relaxed on the occasional day he's not here, he brings a tremendous amount to the table, and you know, when any one of us is down, there's that much more work that has to be done and figured out. I know Dan has a major comfort zone when Paulie's here and has him in his ear and everything, so it's great when all four of us are intact. But it'll be a great weekend. I'm looking forward to celebrating the birthday with the family. It's nice to go into the weekend with some strong Friday.
Brett Favre's birthday is this weekend?
Right up there. Both 46 tomorrow. 10-10. How about that? 10-10.
All right. Well, with no Paulie today, we will push the Danettes Football
tonight.
Night in America Challenge to next week. Hashtag DFNCINIEIEIO, wherever the hell that thing was. All right, Fritzy, who's on next week?
Terrell Davis is expected, two-time Super Bowl champion with my Denver Broncos, NFL Network analyst. And we're going to have Nick Newell, MMA pro fighter, in studio also for Monday's show, and he'll probably beat up Paulie, I would assume, at some point. That'll also be on Monday.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, thank you, gentlemen. We are back on Monday right here on Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. The podcast is available on iTunes or at podcast1.com. Happy birthday, Todd.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!